right. Hello, everyone. On behalf of Library Makers, I would like to welcome you to our hands-on coding and electronics library programs, empowering blind and visually impaired learners and beyond. So my name is Marnie Balint. I'm the Experiential Learning Supervisor here at Skokie Public Library, and I am a member of the Events and Programs Committees here at Library Makers, which Karen just talked about very momentarily. Library Makers is a community that connects and supports library staff from all over the country in libraries big and small, who are all at different points in their maker journey. Whether you are just getting started or you have been making for many years, we welcome you to our online community. LibraryMakers.org has its own social platform where you can connect and get to know each other, share questions, ideas, and resources, enjoy blog posts on relevant topics, and peruse a video library of past events. Please note that today's event will also be recorded. Before we get started, I want to launch a quick poll so we can get to know the audience today a bit better. Give me one moment and I will do that. All right, so the poll has been launched. I would welcome people to answer these three questions. Basically, what region are you from? What type of library are you? And what best describes the community that your library serves? This just helps us figure out how our events and other committees can help create more programs and opportunities for our community. If you scroll down, you should or see the other questions as well. All right, I'll give you a little bit longer to finish this survey, this poll that we have up here. It looks like we have a lot of people from the Midwest and the West. Welcome. Most of us are public libraries or other, a lot of urban or suburban libraries as well. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us, everybody. Information like this is so helpful for us, so thank you for participating in our poll. We encourage all of you to go back and fill out your profile on Library Makers if you haven't done that yet, so others can get to know a bit more about you and easily connect with similar interests or areas in the country. So now it looks like our presenters are ready, and I would like to present our presenters today who will share with us information on this topic. So we have Dr. Kyungwon Koh, Associate Professor and Director of the CUC Fab Lab. We have Sara Ballenger, Community Engagement Instructor at the CUC Fab Lab, and Wayne Hardy, Fabrication and Engagement Support Associate at the CUC Fab Lab. And they are going to talk to us more today about hands-on coding and electronics library programs, empowering blind and visually impaired learners, and beyond. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'll let our presenters share their screen. One moment. It's all yours whenever you're ready. I'm so sorry, we can't hear you, Dr. Koh.
There we go. Try now. Hi, what about this?
Yes, that's good. Thank you so much.
Is it too loud?
No,
Not
that's
really?
great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your patience. This is Dr. Kyungwon Koh, Associate Professor at the School of Information Sciences at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I'm also the director of the Champaign-Urbana Community Fab Lab, and I'm joined by our staff members here. I'll let them introduce yourselves after your turn, Wayne Hardy and Sara Ballenger. So we are here to talk about hands-on coding and electronics programs you can implement with your blind and visually impaired learners and potentially any other people who want to learn coding and electronics in a hands-on and physical ways. Can we go to that slide? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so today the agenda is I'm gonna give you a brief introduction and background of the project because this is part of a 3-year IMLS funded project. And then we're gonna show the hands-on demonstrations and share our experience about how we've implemented this program. I'm trying to see my script here, but it's not working. Okay. Yeah, while we are working on the slide, if you can keep working on it, that'd be great. So this project, the motivation and background behind this project was the PI of this project, Dr. Ju Young-seo, and I'm working as a co-PI here. So we talk about his own experiences as a blind teenager, and now he's accomplished data scientist and professor here at the university. But when we talk about his own experiences and journey in that STEM area, he experienced lots of challenges. If you see the slide here, currently a lot of STEM materials are largely visual-based, lots of charts and graphs. And if you are familiar with the Scratch, this is a visual like coding programs. People can drag and drop those building blocks to create the codes, but those visual heavy programs are not very accessible to blind and visual learners, and their career options are very limited. So we started talking about the potential of maker programs and maker approaches because we can use different senses like touching, tangibility. So we started to developing hands-on coding and electronics programs. So what we've done here is like here with the Sarah and Wayne and the instructors here implemented this program with Chicago Lighthouse blind and visually impaired learners. And then we provided workshop to different librarians and makers professionals about this program so that they can do this program with their own community members. So that's where we are, and I think that's okay. So we can. Okay, so yeah, so our approach apparently, I think a lot of you are experts in the maker learning, but this is a hands-on learning approach. Based on the constructionism. So you learn as you interact with the physical tools. So without a further ado, I'll let you demonstrate these programs. So, because I think a lot of you are interested in learning about the actual part. So we are using the tools called Snap Circuit, Snappino, and Code Jumpers. And Sarah, are you ready? Okay. Wayne is ready. Okay. There we go.
Awesome. I think I have
Okay.
one on.
Wonderful.
All right, are you guys able to hear me? There you go. How about now? Are you guys able to hear me? Awesome. Okay, so hi, my name is Wayne Hardy. I am the Fabrication and Engagement Support Associate at the lab. I write a bunch of curriculum for the lab. I do some engagement work, working with GAs, helping them kind of learn how to do teen programming and things like that. And today, what I am going to show you all is how we would do our BVI programming with a tool called Snap Circuit. And what Snap Circuits are, I think they've been introduced just a little bit, but Snap Circuits are I'm going to go ahead and set up our dual screen here real quick so you guys can see. There we go. Let's go top down camera. Whoa. Nope, that's not it.
Like, is it on?
One more. No.
It's
No, it is on. Yeah, it's on.
Is the right video selected?
Yep.
Wait, don't you need the black magic?
No, black magic is for this thing. We love tech. Tech is so fun. It works all of the time, 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So this is this.
You want to see what happens if you select black magic?
I know what's going to happen. It'll go to this one here. Oh. Well, actually, you know what, Michael? Let's just have you be here front and center on the podium. We can do something like this. And everything will fall, but that is okay. Just move it up some. Okay, we're going to go with a little bit more of a wonky setup, but it should suffice. Essentially, what snap circuits are is a toy to show like a more tactile coding. Oh, does that work too? Okay, that works too. Okay. So a way to show tactile coding. So the snap circuit kit comes in a box typically like this, and it has a bunch of components inside. So you'll see like there's a speaker here. There are snaps, which is how you connect all of the little modules. There's some LEDs, alarms, that sort of thing. And what we've done is taken all of, oh, are they not able to see?
Right now it's
Okay, we can work with that for now. But what we've done is we've taken all of the pieces and we've compartmentalized them into little kit style things. So we had a large bag with the Snappino box, a snap circuit box. It had the grid in it and some other smaller modules named with what's inside of them. So these that I'm showing you now have large font on them, but we also had a Braille variant to kind of help those with low vision and blind, and those who are blind as well. But we have like a modules bag, we had a circuit bag, those sorts of things. And what I'm going to demonstrate to you right now is how we would teach that, like a process of making one of our circuit setups during one of our programs. So we have our manager here, Michael. He's blindfolded. He can't see anything. So you'll hear me use like a lot of descriptive language to describe what's going on. For example, right now, I'm going to tell him to take the battery holder, which is by your right hand. It has, yep, you'll feel that it has some prongs on it for battery slots. And you're going to have to know a little bit of grid coordinates. But do you feel the two nubs on the end? Yep, those two nubs, you're going to place them on the A6 and A8 of your grid. So your grid starts at A at the top, and then A1 is that very first nub there, and A10 is all the way to the right. Yep, but this one you're going to rotate 180 degrees because we want the battery to be facing out. Yep, and you want the nubs. Okay, and you're going to take two of your batteries, which are on your left-hand side. Yep, you've got one there, and one's a little bit further. And you're going to put them into the battery slots. And let's do one for now. Yeah, you can put the other one off to the side. We're going to take a 2 snap. So over on your right-hand side, a little bit further up. Oh, yep, there you go. We're going to take a 2 snap and we're going to place it on, C6 to D6. And what we're doing right now is we're building the circuit from the bottom up. So some of our circuits had layers, like a layer 1, a layer 2, and we found that starting everything from the very base layer and then going on to the second layer helped a little bit more than, say, having a participant put down the first layer and then move directly to the second layer. That sparked a little bit confusion sometimes. But what we're going to do now, Michael, is we're going to take our second 2 snap, which is close to your left hand. Yep, and we're going to put it C8 to D8. And that completes our first layer. So we're going to move on to our second layer now. You're going to put 1 3 snap, so your left-hand side here. We're going to put that in D1 to D6. Or I'm sorry, D3. I don't know my coordinates. Just kidding. We're going to go A8 to C8. So you're going to take that snap off, A8 to D8. It's going to go vertically. I think that one's A9, one to the left. Yep, and you're going to take your melody chip on your right-hand side. Yep, that one right there. So that melody chip has a speaker on the top of it. It will make noise once the battery holder has both batteries in. And you're going to take the plus end. So you won't be able to see the plus end, but it is the side on your left thumb. And you're going to take that plus end and put it to the left-hand side of the battery holder, so that left nub on the battery holder. And you're going to attach, yep, you're going to attach it straight down vertically. Okay, so our melody chip is in. Now we want to attach our fan. So your fan is also to your right-hand side. A little, yep, there you go. And you want to put that fan from D6 to D8. Okay, now our circuit is complete. We have a melody chip and we have a fan. This fan specifically is a plastic, it's a plastic fan. The one that comes in the Snap Circuit kit actually flies off, which can be kind of startling for BVI students. So we bought a different fan. This one has LED lights in it. So if there are participants who are low vision, they might be able to see those lights when they light up. But this one just was a lot safer. So when it starts up, Michael, you're free to touch it. It shouldn't like hurt you or anything like that. We're going to take that battery, the second battery on your upper right-hand side. Yep. And you're going to put it into the open slot in your holder. Okay. So feel around, kind of tell me what's happening. What do you hear? What do you feel? Okay.
Don't feel the fan moving.
You don't feel a fan moving.
Correct.
That is correct. So because we are, you can go ahead and take that melody chip off or one of the batteries out. Thank you. Because this is a series circuit and we only have 3 volts worth of batteries in our battery holder, the circuit actually does not have enough power to supply to both the melody chip and the fan at the same time. Now, you might be also confused as to why the melody chip is working to begin with, because it really shouldn't. In a series circuit, if one thing fails, it all should fail. However, the fan actually has a metal connecting piece that allows electricity to run all the way through it. So even though the fan won't be supplied enough power to run, the circuit can still work. But what we're going to do now is we're going to make our circuit work. We're going to make a parallel circuit. So what we're going to do is take off our melody chip, the one, yep, A1 to C, or I'm sorry, A6 to C6. Yep, you can put that to the side for now. And we're going to take our 3-snap, which is to your left-hand side. Yep, that one right there. And we're going to replace where that melody chip was. So A6 to C6. And now we're going to take our melody chip and we're going to place it from B6 to B8. And the plus side this time is in your right, is on your right thumb, so you want to rotate that. Yep. Go ahead and drop that down. And you're going to take your battery, yep, and put it inside of that battery holder there. Okay, so now tell me what you're hearing, what you're feeling.
Fan is spinning and the track.
Yep, and that's because we're using a parallel circuit. So all of the voltage is able to be distributed evenly between the circuit. And you can go ahead and take that melody chip off again. So the way that we modeled the circuits in our lesson plans is such that they should mostly be able to all work off of each other and require like minimum moving of parts, because that can be one of the more frustrating aspects of doing this is like, oh, I need to change the 3-snap for like a 1-snap and do a whole different configuration. We try to keep everything very similar configuration. You might only need to take off 1 piece or 2 pieces at the beginning. But yeah, that's how snap circuits kind of works. That's how the lesson plan goes.
Thank you, Michael.
Yes, thank you, Michael. Now we're going to move into, here you go. Now we're going to move into Sarah showing you all how our Code Jumper and Snappino programs work.
All right, so I'm going to, can y'all hear me okay?
Is it possible for you to be a little bit closer to the mic or a little bit louder?
Can you hear me now? Okay. I will just try to speak nice and loud, but I am going to briefly share the screen. So the way that we did the workshops is we started off with the snap circuit, talked a lot about, can you guys actually see the screen? Okay, cool. I know you can't see me right now, but that's fine. Code Jumper. Yep. So we started off with snap circuits. We talked about, we taught the workshop attendees how to kind of do general circuits. Then we go into Code Jumper. And Code Jumper is a really nifty kit, I guess, a very tactile way of learning how to do code. So you have these tactile pods that control blocks of code on a computer or a tablet. It's connected via Bluetooth, and it was specifically made for BVI learners. And I will show you kind of how we went about teaching it very briefly, and then I will go into Snappino, which then kind of combines circuitry with the snap kit circuits and then coding. So we wanted to introduce the concept of circuits and then introduce concepts of coding and then combine them all together. So I'm going to show on the screen here. Oh, is it turned off? Oh, okay. Okay, so this here is, I'll do it kind of this way. There we go. This here is the main hub pod. So this is how all the different pods connect. You have the speaker here. This controls the volume. You have all these different ports that connect via headphone jack, all these little pods that come with the kit. And you have a stop button and a play button. So you can play it and it'll go through the sounds of the pods that are connected. If you hit both the play and stop, it'll actually read the code back to you. So for example, when you plug these in, you get a nice little click sound to confirm that they are connected, and you can see on the screen here that it then popped up this line of code that says play star for one-time speed. You have this high knob that controls the speed, and then this controls what is said. So it's all preset with different sounds that you can then alter the speed or alter the specific sound. And we'll start with Twinkle 1 at one-time speed. So you can see if I were to hit play, it'll just run the code. So you hear what is written. And then if I hit both of these,
At one twinkle, twinkle. Play Twinkle 1 for one-time speed.
can
and
you
thread.
can you all hear that? Okay, cool. So when you hit both of them, it plays back the code. And like Wayne had mentioned, the way that we set up our lesson plans was to kind of build off of one another, to kind of start off simple and then to get more complex. So we had Code Jumper be a group activity, and we had each one of them pick out a play pod, set it to the correct line of code, link it together, and then play the correct tune. So they kind of had to go through and set each one of these. So this is a very simple way of thinking about code. You got line by line. If you play it, it'll simply just do, which is a nice little melody. And then we went into talking about loop pods. So this is a loop pod, and you can, I forget which way this goes. Small goes first. So when you plug in the loop pod, you'll see it created a new line of code, and this dial only controls the number.
4, 5, 6, 4, 3.
That's how many times it'll loop, and you can loop this set of code. Which way did I do it wrong? Oh, other one, this one here. There we go. And then you'll see it will loop these 4 lines of code this many times, and so forth. And then we built up to a very, very complex pod collection, which is all online on those resources. But for now, this is kind of just a demonstration of how the Code Jumper works. There's a whole like suitcase of a bunch of different pods. This is just your simple play pods and a loop pod. There's pause pods. There's other pods that I can't think of right now. But this is Code Jumper. It was a very tactile way, a group effort way to teach them coding. And then we kind of combined the two. So, thank you. I'm gonna screen share real quick. Then we went into Snappino. So Snappino uses snap circuits, and it is connected to an Arduino. So Arduino is a pretty well-known microcontroller that gets used a lot at maker spaces. It's open source, pretty very entry easy for people. And you can use the regular Arduino IDE for coding the Snappino. We, however, used VS Code, so Visual Studio's code. It is a lot easier to navigate with a screen reader. Again, the resource folder that we have goes about how to teach using VS Code, goes how to like set it up and use it with screen readers and all of that. There are some drawbacks with Snappino. So just like the snap circuits, they had a lot of lights and things like that, which are great. But when you're working with blind and visually impaired learners, we had to kind of alter it to use more things that were audio or tactile. With the Snappino, there are limited number of pins. You do have access to all of the pins at the top. So in this camera here, there's like a hole that you can actually put little pins in, but that's hard if you are struggling to see finer details. We did have to customize a module because we could not use the fan. So the spinny light up fan, which is a DC motor, does not work well with an Arduino. Just fun fact, you need a lot of amps to run it. So we had to like group up all the pins just to run it. So we had to modify and come up with a specific module for the servo. And so we made a 3D model, which is available in the resource folder, and added it to, added a servo to it and snaps and all of that so that we could use a servo motor with the Arduino or Snappino. So let me go back. And this is one of the more combined ones. So with the snap circuits set up here, I'll kind of show you. We first started off with teaching the melody IC, just simply turning it on and off with the code. Then we did the servo, doing like simple for loops, which if you go into Arduino and do like the sweep example, that's pretty much what a for loop is. And then we kind of bumped up to a more complex series or circuit. And I'm going to stop this so you can see the screen a little bit better. And this is already preloaded with the code. And we have, I'll turn around so you can see the custom module here for the servo. There's so many different words, snapo, servo, snap circuits. And we have it connected to the positive here, and the ground is connected here. It shares a ground with the melody IC. And then we utilized a new one, which is a snap wire. It just gives a little bit more flexibility, and we have that hooked up. So the code, I can pull it up on the side screen, but it is pretty straightforward. Share that. And I will turn this on and it'll make some noise and move. So the code is running through first it goes through a for loop, just moving the servo from 0 to 180. And then when it hits the 90 degrees, it turns on the melody IC, and it runs through that until it hits 180. It goes back, and when it's less than 90 degrees, it turns the melody IC off. So this is more of a complex code. So again, we kind of built up to this with simpler things, and it's a really good way to specifically we did with like Code Jumper. Our more complex setup has an if statement in it, and so we kind of call back to Code Jumper when we're working with Snappino. I'm going to turn this off. I think you get the idea with that. So going back and forth, we kind of tie them all together the best that we can. And yeah, all of that stuff is available. I believe Kyungwon Koh shared the flyer in the chat. I believe Marnie, you have it as well and can send it out. It is a link to a Google folder that has everything you can ever think of to run these workshops, but we're gonna leave some time now to talk about program implementation, right? Is that your part, Marnie?
Yeah, I can talk about that a little bit.
Okay, great.
Hi everyone. So we ran this program at Skokie Public Library last summer, which was really interesting. The setup included 5 large print snap circuit kits and 1 braille snap circuit kit. We also had electricity diagrams with each kit and made large printouts of the circuits, including in the lesson plan. This was basically a scheduled 2-hour drop-in that we did with BVI students and their families through an organization that was local to us here. But basically, the organization communicated this opportunity to parents and caregivers through their own specific communication methods. Our intention was to have participants like intro and have a brief discussion about electricity and circuits and using diagrams as a guide. But what happened was we had 3 students participate, and they're all very keen on experimenting on their own with their aid. So we sort of stepped back to let them have that space without having it be sort of a more formal program. And that seemed to be more successful for the first time for us. One student we had was also meeting their aid for the new school year for the first time. So they spent time together and, communicating and introducing themselves to that. Another student wanted to make the biggest circuit that they could possibly make. We checked in with them and asked questions and if they were troubleshooting, but most were very happy to experiment on their own. We engaged with like some conversation about snap circuits and connection and coding, what makes a circuit complete, etc., things like that. But really the participants, students and their adults, they wanted to chat with each other and play around and experiment and mess around with the snap circuits kits. And that seemed to be more successful specifically for them. So it will depend on your community and your library about what works best for you in this sort of implementation of this program. We did make 4 of the large print kits and 1 of the braille kits accessible through our STEAM kits collection. So we have STEAM kits that can be checked out through our library. We also have a refreshable display braille reader through the library or through our Library of Things collection too. No one checked anything out after the specific event, but I believe they have been checked out the last few months, which has been really cool to see. Everyone stayed the full 2 hours and did a lot of talking and communicating with each other, which was great. We're also thinking about for the future, what does like a classroom visit with Code Jumper or Snappino look like? We're surveying students in schools who may be interested in that as well. We're also looking to host additional drop-in events with other maker and STEM related resources for the BVI community. So that's something that we're also looking to as we get to the summer and the fall as well. But I'd say overall, it was pretty successful, specifically for us, since we're able to introduce students to a new resource and provide an opportunity for them to connect with each other and aids that they hadn't necessarily previously gotten before. So that was pretty cool from our end, and we were glad that we were able to work with the Fab Lab to be able to offer this program. Snap circuits is something that we regularly see in our STEM lab, so it's something that our library community is specifically familiar with. So it was really nice to be able to offer a modified one and adapted one for people to be able to participate with in that way as well. So that is how we implemented it specifically at our library. And a lot of the time, what we would recommend for the future is to like do a drop-in session and see what people are interested in, but specifically reaching out with local organizations to see if they have a wider reach for their community as well. But now I believe we're going to open it up a little bit to questions. So please feel free to unmute yourself or type your question in the chat. We're happy to share those questions with our presenters today. So anybody have any questions?
I have a question. Yeah, thank you so much for showing us those tools and talking about your lessons. I was just wondering about the age range that you for your classes. If you can talk a little bit about that.
We can share that. I think we specifically, the workshop that we did was teenage range. So I can't remember the exact ages. Do you remember the exact ages? Kyungwon?
16, we had 121, yeah.
Yeah, so we had like a 16-year-old to a 21-year-old. But I would say the lesson plans can definitely be used with even like middle school age as well. The Snappino part was probably the more advanced part, but you could. Oh, what did she say? I did repeat it. Okay. But yes, I would say like Snap Circuit could easily be adaptable to younger group of kids. Code Jumper could easily be used with like elementary kids. Very easy, very just tactile and simple. So you could range depending on what area you want to focus on and what tools you want to use.
We also regularly at the library do snap circuits for K-6 grades. So it's possible that you can introduce them for different age ranges as well. It looks like Katie also has a question about how did you advertise the public library session? For us specifically, we put it on our program events page on our website, and then we reached out to an organization that specifically works with teens and adults with disabilities as well. So they had a community of blind and visually impaired learners that they already knew about. So they reached out to them as well. Any other questions? Katie said, how bulky is the Code Jumper set up if you have all the pods?
So all the pods come in this kit here. So it's like a suitcase, briefcase size, but it also is full of foam so that they kind of like have their own little protected area. You could probably pop out the pods, but I would just suggest probably using the kit. It's not that bulky. You have this kit and then a laptop or a tablet.
Awesome, thank you. Any other questions for our presenters? Amazing. If there's no other questions today, thank you all so much for attending our event today. I'm going to share really quickly, just as a reminder that we are taking nominations still for library makers. We would love your feedback on today's event, and Karen is going to share that in the chat as well. What you're interested in the future. So please take a moment to fill out this very short survey. It really does help us and make sure that we're providing events for the library makers community that people want to see. Also, to get updates on future events and recaps and links to the recording of events that you may have missed, you can sign up for our newsletter here, which Karen is also going to post in the chat. We publish bi-monthly, so we won't be spamming your inbox with a ton of emails. You can also check out event recordings by going to our YouTube channel, which Karen will also share here. Thank you so much. And then up next on Tuesday, April 22nd, we have Craftivism in your makerspace. Check out the events tab on the Library Makers website, and Karen will also share that here in the link. But we hope to see you join us at librarymakers.org for more discussions. Our community newsfeed is a great place to share more and get answers to questions about everything related to making makerspaces in libraries. It's a community created for library people by library people with lots and lots of ideas for maker experiences, as well as mutual support for running a successful maker program. So thank you all for attending, and thank you so much for our presenters. It was really great to see this in action and how you implement this program. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And I hope everyone has a great afternoon. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone, for
you.
coming.
Bye-bye.